Hello everyone, this is Impulse, and today I got something truly awesome to show you guys. This behind me is my newest gold farm that I am calling the X79, and what is special about this gold farm is it doesn't just give you gold, it also gives you XP. And on top of that, you actually get rare drops from the pigmen as well. The way it works is basically there's a new kind of feature, or some may call bug, we'll see, in Minecraft 1.8 where pigmen basically will aggro each other. So if they spawn in and they see another pigman within 32 blocks of them that are upset, that are aggroed, they're going to also get aggroed, and when you move within 16 blocks of them, they're going to get mad at you. So they're going to chase you around, and basically what I've done is I've used that mechanic to pull them into a crushing system that will crush them to death, right next to where you're kind of going back and forth on a minecart. And after it crushes them, this is the amazing thing, they drop XP. So basically you're able to collect XP, you're also able to get rare drops because of that. They basically kind of count as a player kill in a way, and you're able to get all that. And you can just be sitting in a minecart completely AFK, meaning you don't even have to be at your computer. You can just put yourself in the minecart, go to lunch, and in about an hour, you'll get 92 levels of XP, which is 11,000 experience. You're also going to get about 1,800 gold nuggets. You're going to get about 80 ingots because it's the rare drop that you're getting. You're going to get, basically when you craft all that, you can get up to 32 gold blocks per hour. Not to mention you're also going to get some rotten flesh. Get about 2,000 of those per hour as well. And that's because as the pigmen are getting crushed, they're going to summons in some actual zombies, regular zombies, and they're going to get killed too. So you get a little bit of extra rotten flesh as well. So I've hooked up a sorting system to this as well, so you can keep all that sorted. I got a pretty cool sorting system to show you guys how to build. And let me go ahead and just kind of demonstrate this thing here. Let me get out of F5. And it's hard to see what I'm doing. All right, and so we will get to my hand over here. And basically all you're going to need is some snowballs. So go ahead and grab those. Just get a stack of snowballs here. You really only need one to keep it going. And we'll go into game mode, survival. And you can see I've already got 92 levels of XP. So let's just go ahead and get rid of those. We'll just minus that just to be safe. And done. Alright, so you can see I got no XP. I got some pigmen in there, and before I go any further, we are up at 242. So we're like way above the bedrock in the nether, and I can show you how to do that. If you don't know how to get above the bedrock, it's still really easy to do, and not only is it easy to get up here, it's easy to create a hole in the bedrock so you can go back down. So I'll show you that trick as well when we get to the tutorial part. But to start this thing, you just get in the cart, you flip this lever right here, it's going to start a little clock, and then it's going to send you on your way. My head's inside of some half slabs, and then I go inside glass. You can see I've already got some guys in here. I got one guy that glitched into the hopper. It's all good, he's fine. But when we get over here, we throw a snowball at this guy. He's a named pigman. Oh, look, we got a chicken zombie even. He's chasing us fast, right? Oh, and it's super loud. Super loud. All right, and then so you can see they're getting crushed because they're all mad now. They're chasing me because they're all aggroed. And they're basically going to chase me, and you can see them just coming and falling right into the crushing chamber. And all this XP is just sitting on the floor waiting for us. And we don't have to throw another snowball. This guy's just going to stay mad. And as long as you name him, he's not going to despawn. He's trapped in there. There's nowhere for him to go. And he is basically signaling to the rest of these guys, hey, you guys should be angry. And I go sliding by them on this minecart track. So I get myself within 16 blocks of them. That's all those spawn pads there. And there you go, you can see all this XP. I'm just driving by collecting. You can see I started at 0, and just in the couple trips I'm already at, watch this, as soon as I get past this, I'll be past 15, if not more. So you can see it's just really super fast. See 16, 17, there we go, 18, it just keeps going. It's crazy, crazy. So then when you're done AFKing, you can get out, and you can come collect the rest of it that's kind of sitting around, kind of spills out everywhere. These guys are going to crush one more time. And look at that, just in that short time, I mean, literally get to level 30 in less than 4 minutes. And you can see the items still flowing in on the item elevator. And let's see what we got. I had an hour test that I did before. That's about what I got, plus a couple more just from just now. There's the rotten zombie flesh, and here's the crazy thing. You also get those rare drops. So pretty cool. That's how it works. It's basically just using the mechanism that they can aggro each other, and then they'll chase you, and you kind of get credit for the kill with the XP and the loot. So pretty simple concept, and in fact, it's actually pretty simple to build as well. If we take a look at this, it's mostly blocks. It's just mostly blocks. It's just to get the spawning pad for all these guys. There's over 3,000 spawning spots for them to spawn on. And you can see these little magma cubes. If they spawn, they're basically just going to jump around until they jump off the edge, and then they'll jump far enough away that they'll despawn. Whereas the rest of the zombie pigmen here will kind of pathfind their way to you, and they're going to end up kind of just falling in this drop chute here because they get tricked with these trapdoors, and they fall down into your crushing system. So aside from the crushing system, there's very little redstone. Crushing system, sorting system, a little bit of redstone in that. But other than that, it's basic game mechanics that are at play here. So it's also pretty server friendly. It's not going to induce a lot of lag for you. So let's go ahead and get to building this thing. What do you say? Alright, so before we get started, let me show you the materials you're going to need to build this thing. Like I said, you are going to need a serious amount of blocks. That's because we're going to create 2,304 spawning spaces for the pigmen to spawn on. And so in total, that's going to be about 38 stacks of a solid block. Just make sure it's a solid block that mobs can spawn on. I also have about 13 stacks or so of glass here, and that is so that you can see them, and also, you can make sure they don't get to you. So it's got a dual purpose there. It doesn't have to be glass, but I really do recommend you put glass on there just so you have nice visibility of what's going on inside your mob trap. So use the glass if you can. Some of the other things you're going to need is some half slabs. I like using half slabs for kind of the edges of it and basically spawn proofing it. So you're going to need about 10 stacks or so of half slabs. Doesn't have to be stone. Again, it could be whatever half slab variant you like. And then here's some of the other things you're going to need. You're going to need 44 Redstone Dust, some repeaters, comparators. I do need some hoppers. You can cut down on the hoppers, actually, if you build your sorting system a little closer to the trap. I brought mine over to where the cart takeoff zone is, so I used a little bit more in my design. Some droppers for the elevator, dispenser to shoot items into some lava. This is basically so I can get rid of all those gold swords because those will stack up on you rather quickly, guys. So I don't recommend keeping the gold swords. They're pretty much useless. You're also going to need some ladders to get up to the top. I mentioned earlier that you're going to go all the way up to 242, so we have to get above the nether. Going to need a lot of ladders to do that as well, and then just some other miscellaneous items that you'll need. So make sure you get all that. I'll put the list of all the stuff you need in the description so you can kind of go shopping before you plan your build. And next, we go through the portal to the nether. So let's go ahead and do that. And grab your materials, of course. You're going to have to get them all up above the nether. But let's go ahead and do this. I want to show you how to get above the nether, guys. So basically what you would do right now is you would just kind of get in the nether and then stack jump your way up, right? I'm doing this in creative just to kind of hurry things along. But you go all the way up, basically stack jump up, get a ladder on it, and then get yourself to where there is bedrock. You'll start to see the bedrock formation. I'm trying not to break any here. And this looks like it might be a pretty good part right here. Okay, so you can see if you go all the way up here where my head's at, I'm actually at 125, and that's perfect. That's exactly where you can see that XY coordinate. We're looking at the Y. This is going to be the top layer of bedrock. In fact, if I bust that, you can see there's only one more, right? So let's put that back. That never happened. You didn't see anything. And now what you do is once you're up there, you're gonna need an ender pearl for this guy. So go kill an enderman. But basically, here, let me get the stuff I need real quick. I'm gonna want a ladder. And if I can find out where they store the ladders. I'm never in creative, so I never know. And we're going to get an ender pearl. Hopefully you just need one. We'll see if I can do this right. I'm going to get an extra one just in case I mess up. And before you do this, you're going to need one of two things. You're going to either need materials to build a portal to get back down, or you're going to need some dirt. Grab some dirt. And I'm going to need some dark oak saplings. And some bone meal. You know, I need to get enough of these because I'm going to go into survival here. So let's make sure we have everything we need because I'm going to go in survival and not go back. And then we need some bone meal. And there we go. All right. So I will go into survival just to show you how to get above the bedrock. Basically, you can put a ladder right there, so you have a 1 block space right there. That's what you want. And you're going to throw your ender pearl into the ladder, and then you're going to press forward to climb up it. So let's see if we can get this going. I'm in survival again. Hopefully I can get it in one shot. All right, and you got to hit the space bar to jump up because you're going to be kind of halfway in that bedrock right there. So there we go. So I would recommend bringing stuff for a portal just in case you run out of saplings or something like that. But now what we can do is we put down the dirt. We're going to start putting down, we're going to put down the 4 saplings, and we're going to bone meal it. And I'm probably going to go into creative now just because I didn't bring an axe or anything, but you guys will get the gist. You've probably seen this by now. You break out those, you put in 4 more sapling, get it bone milling, and you just do this over and over again until something magical is going to happen. You ready? Boom. That was magical. It just grew leaves in my face. But as you start breaking them away, you're going to find that it actually grew some roots down through the bedrock. And there you go. Look at that. Went all the way through. And now I have a way out. So we'll just go ahead and dig this out. And boom, look at me. I'm right back at my portal. So now you can move your ladder or just kind of, shift your tunnel up here to go over. It looks like if I went over a couple this way, like so, and then let me go one more down, and then like that. Probably find my older. There you go. So you can find your path back to your original ladder if you want. But there you go. Now I have a way to get on top of the bedrock pretty easily, and now we can start building our gold farm. We just have to climb up another 120-ish blocks. Yeah, about that. So, all right, that'd be the next step. So once you have your blocks, your ladders, your half slabs, your glass, go ahead, get back on top of the nether there now that you got your nice hole cut through, and just find a spot, wherever you want to put it away from your hole. And now you can just stack jump up. The way I do it usually so I can get the ladder on is I'll double stack jump up, kind of like this, if I don't have ender pearls. And then once you get to the top, cut down one side, and then you're back down at the bottom nice and safely with the nether. You can't just put water or anything to catch you. And then you can build your ladder on up. So I'm going to go ahead, and you just want to do that, get a little tower going all the way with your ladder. Of course, you could later do whatever you want, minecart elevator or ender pearl elevator if you have ender pearls, or whatever kind of elevator you want, because you're probably not going to want to climb this ladder. It's going to be really tedious, really long process to climb all the way up. And what we're looking to do now is get all the way up to 242. Oop. Let's see if I can do this without falling down anymore. And we're almost there. All right, so here we are, 242. You can see I'm actually standing on 243, and that's perfect because you're going to want to create a platform that's a half-slabbed platform. So you would have your ladders going up the side here, and then you're going to put a platform around it. Now let me get out of F3 so I can see my cursor a little better. And there we go. So start building your platform around your ladder here. You can do that. And that way, once you get up the ladder, you have a nice place to stand, nice place to build. And there you go. So just kind of build yourself out, just a nice little platform. Okay, once we got our platform built, the next piece we need to do is put in our track. So what you want to do is come over to the edge here, and we'll start there. And then it's actually going to have a block up like that behind it, because that's where the tracks or the cart's going to actually end up sitting. And then you just want to go 56 blocks. So you got 1, 2, and then go all the way to 56 out. Okay, once you're 56 blocks out, then you need to put yourself another end on here for your minecart to hit against and then get bounced back. And then what you want to do is we're going to create a little platform for our zombie pigmen that we named and cage to be in. So just put a glass block there, and then we're basically just going to make a nice little cage. You can make it out of glass. Actually, recommend you make it out of glass, because what I had happen to me before is I had it out of solid blocks. I hit him with a snowball and he went glitching into the solid blocks and suffocated. So if you do it with glass, you should be fine there. And then we want to leave a little space so that we can, as we're here, hit him with a snowball. And the way we do that is we put half slab there, but then that would be spawnable. So you want to put another half slab on top of that, and then some glass just to finish the cage out. So you'll end up with something that looks like that. Okay, so the next thing I recommend doing, it's not necessary, but I do kind of recommend it just because it makes things easier for later on if you ever need to get down here, is I like to put just glass along the sides all the way down here. And you'll do that on both sides. And you want to do glass or at least something that's not spawnable, so that you kind of have more area to work with. And then if you need to get down to that village or down to that zombie, for any reason, if your cart takes off on you, you can go get it, that sort of thing. You see we're already getting spawns up here. And so this glass will at least prevent spawns there. And they're going to start spawning on those blocks that we're going to put the track on while you're building. And it's just something you're going to have to kind of work around, unfortunately. So there we go. We get all that glass put in. I'll put one there just to make it look nice. And the next step is to start with our tracks. So you need to grab your powered rail and your regular rails, and you're going to put one powered rail there. And I'm going to wait until we start working on the redstone piece to come and put a lever underneath, because in survival it's a little hard to, I mean, basically what you'd have to do is from your ladder get yourself a scaffolding all the way out and then get a lever underneath that block right there. But we'll do that in a little bit. We're going to put the rail all the way across here and just all the way down. Move the pigman out of the way if you need to. You can just kind of drop them off. They won't get angry at you if you're pushing them and not hitting them. And at the very end, you're going to put one more powered rail. Now, a couple of these rails we're going to actually tear back out and replace with powered rails. But we're going to wait till later in the build to do that. That way you can kind of get a good idea of where they belong. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is start to build our platform. So grab as many blocks as you can carry and as many glass as you can carry and some half slabs. And we're going to come down on the end where we're going to trap the zombie pigman. And we're basically going to go 2 up from this spot right here. And then next to that block there is where we start the platform. So you don't need that block there just yet. What I do like to do also is kind of get like a barrier going on underneath just so I don't fall out. If you can afford the glass, again, these are kind of nice to have, but I'll usually build a barrier all the way down like that. We'll do that. We'll finish that up later. But let's get the platform going. And basically the way you do the platform is you want to do a 12 by 32. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 by 32. Okay, so when you're done, you're going to have something that looks like this. Now, I need to warn you guys, doing this in survival, you are going to start getting spawns, and that includes those guys. So be prepared to fight yourself some gas. I'm going to go ahead and set it into peaceful now, though, just so I don't have to deal with them for the tutorial. But do keep that in mind. You will need to bring a bow and arrow, and I would recommend not hitting any pigmen if you can. Alright guys, so the next part is we need to create a way to make sure that they cannot get out of this spawn pad except for the back. We're going to leave the back open so that magma cubes fall off, and then that drop shaft we're going to put in the corner over here. So outside of that, what you want to do is basically bring a glass wall in the front here. This is again where I recommend glass if you can afford it, because it's nice to be able to see inside exactly what's going on. So just take your glass, go all the way down, do 2 layers of that. Each floor is going to be 2 layers apart from each other height-wise. And there you go, glass all the way down. And then on this edge here, what you want to do is put half slabs on the top part of the block there. I'm actually going to put one more block there because I'm going to use that. And we're going to come all the way across here and then to the end right there. And the problem with this is they can spawn here, so you need to put another one on top to make sure that it's not spawnable space. And that's nice too, so you can kind of see through that as well. So you want to do the same thing on this side, except we're going to make one change. We're actually going to, I'm just going to use this to bring it out. We're going to leave that open right there, extend the glass one right there, because this is where they're actually going to fall out. And we can do our 2 layers right there. So we have a top half slab and then a bottom half slab as well, so they can't spawn. And you can test it by standing on it, hitting F3, and if it's a 0.5 after the Y coordinate, then you know it's a half slab and they can't spawn there. So that's basically one floor done. We're going to repeat this process, and the next floor would basically go right here. So you do again 12 by 32, and we're going to build another platform just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so after you build your second floor, it should look just like this. You can see there is exactly a 2 high gap in between the floors there, and we need to do one more spawn pad on top of that. And so you do the same thing as before. You're going to start that floor right there, go 12 by 32. Okay, there we go. So we got 3 spawn platforms on this side. Now we need to do the same exact thing on the other side, and we're just gonna mirror it. So kind of take the same technique here where we're gonna go up 2 blocks like that, and then I'm gonna put a temporary block right there, and then this is going to start that first platform. So we're gonna go 12 out this way and 32 that way for our first platform. Okay, so when you get your first platform done, it should look like this. Just make sure you're doing the same thing on this end where you're leaving the 2 wide gap here open for them to come and fall down the chute. And then we just do the same thing we did on the other side where we put 2 more layers directly above it. Okay, so once you get all 3 layers on both sides done, you should have it end up looking just like this. And there you go, we'll just fly all the way around just so you can get a good view of it. And you can see I've left nowhere where the pigmen can actually get out on any of the sides except for the back and right there in that 2 wide gap there. So for the next part, we're going to actually make the drop shafts, and to do that, I like to use these half slabs. I think it just makes it look nice. So we're going to actually bring this all the way down just like this, and all the way until you get to floor level with where your track is, and that'd be right about there. And then we're gonna bring over some solid blocks just like this, and can bring it all the way across just like that. So you have about 4 by 3 there, and we'll do the same thing over here. I'll go in reverse, doesn't really matter. Might be a little easier for you to build bottom up. And right here is where we'll start stacking these half slabs. Again, you can use solid, just regular blocks if you want. I just think it looks better. And all the way up, just like that. And then the next piece is we want to make sure that we contain them. So you can come out here 2 above the ground, and we're just going to bring a glass chute all the way up. And make sure you don't cover the hole like that. And we'll bring it all the way up like so. And then again, same thing on this side. So starting 2 up, we're going to bring it over here. We'll bring this all the way up there. And then one thing you'll notice is you'll have some gaps in here. You need to make sure you fill those in as well. So you have a totally solid all the way down. There's no way they can get out except here at the bottom. And this is where we're actually going to crush them. So first things first, we're going to change these out with solid blocks. I'm going to put 2 solid blocks there just to kind of encase this whole thing. In fact, bring this over 1 more, kind of helps contain some of the XP and other things as they get crushed. So they don't all just go flying through the blocks. So take these 2 out, same thing on this side, and we'll build this wall all the way up. And then now we can put our pistons in. So basically, you're going to have a solid block right here, and behind that's going to be your sticky piston. So we'll put our sticky piston right there. You got to put 4 of them just like that. And then we're going to bring this part up, same there, and cover our pistons. And then again, right here, same thing on this side, 4 sticky pistons. Bring these blocks up and make a wall. And you should look something like that. Now what we want to do is take our trapdoors, and we're going to go inside of here and basically just put them in and close them on each of these. And it doesn't matter if you do top or bottom, it'll get them the same there. But put those all the way in on all 3 levels, and should have 12 total trapdoors that you use. Okay, there we go. So that's going to trick them into falling. And then finally, we need to make sure that they get contained. But before we do that, we're going to grab our hoppers, and we're going to put down just a layer of hoppers here because their items are basically going to be spitting everywhere. So in order to do that, what I like to do is we're going to take, we need to go outside here and basically put a block down that our hopper is going to point into right there. And you can go off of either side, but the way I have it built, I'm bringing the hopper chain off the left side here. And then you're going to put a hopper into that, and then basically just make a chain of hoppers by holding shift. And we're going to break this out and actually go all the way across into this area here. So put your hopper chain all the way across into both into both chambers. Let's see if I can do this here. See if it'll fit. There we go. And then also the items tend to kind of spit out around these. So if you can afford the extra hoppers and you don't want to lose items, just put some hoppers facing into the side that way. Break those out. Oops, broke one too many. And put hoppers into that side. And then basically you can just replace your track over top of them. So we'll put this one back that I accidentally broke. Put the track back in, hold shift to get over those hoppers, and then there you go. You got a nice zone to pick up all the items that are going to get crushed there. So now what we need to do is make sure that we don't give them a way to get out. So we'll put a half slab there. I like to do it all the way across just like this, and that's also going to allow the XP to flow to us, and then we're going to put glass on top of that, and then one more all the way up so that there's no way anybody can escape. So it should look just like that. So now we're going to work on doing the minecart launcher timer deal that's basically responsible for sending you off and initiating the crushing system, and basically giving you time to come back and sit for a little bit, let more pigmen spawn, and then send you off again. So the first thing we're going to need to do is actually put in a switch so that we can turn this thing off and on. The way I like to do that is put a block there, and then you're going to come back and put a solid block here, here, and then have a redstone lamp. I like the redstone lamp because then you can kind of see an indicator of whether or not the system's on or not, and we can put a lever on that. And so basically what we're going to do is when it turns on, we're going to put a torch on the side of this, and that's going to power some redstone dust across from it right there. And that is going to be responsible for stopping the clock when it's off. So the next part's going to get a little tricky because we need to get underneath this floor to put in the hopper timer. And when you're building in survival, it's not so easy. So the way that I'd like to do it is basically when you're on this ladder here, you can actually place a block, and we need to place it right about, let me see if I can tell where I'm at, there. And that will actually give us the floor that we need to get underneath this thing. So then you just kind of build out just like this and build yourself a little building platform underneath this thing. And now we're able to get underneath it to put all the different parts in we need to. So that's how you would take care of that challenge in survival. In creative here, I'm just going to fly around and do it a little easier. So right here we want to put a hopper, another hopper there, take that one back out and put those facing into each other. And the next step is to build, I'm going to have to put down some blocks here just to place some things. So we'll go like that and that, and then we're going to need to put another block right inside of there. And that's where we're going to put a comparator. So this is your basic etho hopper timer happening right here. Comparator coming out of that, and a couple more blocks, comparator coming out of that side. And those will be pointing into a block with dust on the side of them. And there you go. And then we got sticky pistons facing both ways there, and a redstone block. And then inside these hoppers, you're going to want to place half a stack of a block that, or an item that stacks to 64. So we'll put 32 blocks in there, and that's going to be your timer for the clock here. Now on the back side of these blocks that the comparators are facing into, so it's facing into this block right here, you want to put a torch there and then do the same thing on the other side. And what we're going to do with this torch is actually run a little wire over to the track. And so now when the clock switches there, it's going to power that track, and we can test that right now. We'll fire that up. It's going to start transferring the blocks over, and as soon as they're transferred over, we should see that track light up. There you go. So now you know that's working. You can shut that back off. The next thing we're going to want to do is take the other side of that signal and hook it up to a pulse extender, and that's going to be what actually activates the crushers long enough for them to crush all the pigmen to death. So we're going to use that torch right now, grab that signal. We're just going to put a repeater in, and let me grab a repeater here. And right there, and that's what's going to be grabbing that signal for us. And then we're going to put a block in front of that with redstone dust on it. And then underneath that, and here's another good use of your platform, we're going to have to extend it out, is where we're going to put our actual pulse extender, which looks a lot like the etho hopper timer, but it is a little different here. So let me show you this. And grab another comparator here. Comparator is going to be going into that block. And we have our hoppers again, just like before, facing into each other. And this time we're going to put 16 blocks in the timer itself. and then we'll put another comparator coming out of that side into a block and dust on that. And now what we need to do is we need a sticky piston on this side and then a redstone block, and we need a regular piston on this side. So you can see I'm using this hitbox to the side of the dust there, and that's what's going to do that. And so that's going to give us a signal that we can use, and we're actually going to remove that block, and we're going to grab the signal underneath just like this. So it's going to power this block, and then it's going to power that redstone dust, and we're basically just going to grab it with a repeater here so we can extend it out. And as far as we need to go, we need to make it all the way basically to the both sets of pistons there. So now we can just take the signal, come out here, we'll go a couple blocks over, and then we can extend this. Let's see, where are we at here? Just like that. And we're going to go underneath the pistons here, so you can see I have blocks right here. I'm going to put blocks on top of these pistons, and in between what we're going to do is put torches. At the same time, I also want to fill these in, and we will end up coming back and capping this off so it's not spawnable. But you will put basically torches, and we make a little torch tower, and it's going to set the pistons off, and then come 2 blocks underneath here and torches right here, and then we're going to lead a signal into these blocks that have those torches there. So basically just come out like that. We're going to need to put repeaters on there and then connect it just like that. So put 2 repeaters, redstone dust, and then connect it right there, and that should give us our extended pistons. Alright, now we just need to take that same wire and lead it over to the other side. So we'll do the same thing over here. We'll get this thing ready with some torches right there. Come 2 blocks underneath and there. These are the blocks we're going to lead into, so we'll build this out just like so. Oop, didn't mean to break that. Woo. Alright, and same thing over here. Repeaters and redstone. And then basically we can just bring that straight across, just like that. And now they're hooked together. Perfect. All right, so let's turn the clock on here, and let's see this thing in action. So you should see it light up the minecart right. Oh, there we go. Just retracted that, so that's going to let the pigmen in. Minecart, I think, there it goes. And as you're going by, now this is going to start the pulse extender. And after a certain time, you should see these go off. All right, there they go. So just make sure that they stay extended for a couple seconds here, and that should be long enough to crush the pigmen to death. All right, there we go. So that looks like it's working perfectly. The next step is to actually hook up the hopper chain here to a sorting system so that you can actually do something with all the loot that's dropped by those dead pigmen. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, and if you're doing this in survival, you're probably already getting really annoyed. This top layer is actually going to allow gas to spawn unless you do something about that. So the best way to handle that is to actually put a little bit of a roof on it. It doesn't have to be a full roof, but you just want to put a block in there, and then if you see right there, we still have our too high gap. And it's a half slab. It's a bottom half slab, so nothing can spawn on it. And then basically just take strips of half slabs across like this, and that will stop gas from spawning. And in this case, I'm just going to leave a 3 block gap in between. So you can see I left 2 there, and then go 3, and then you do the same thing and carry that across. And so you only need a couple of these. It kind of saves on blocks. Gas aren't going to be able to spawn in that 3 block space, so that's not a concern. And then we'll go 1, 2, 3 over and do 1 there. And you want to do that on both sides. That will stop the gas from spawning. Now that we've done redstone and there's a ton of glass in here, you're probably going to want to keep them from spawning and ruining some of your blocks. Alright, so once you get that in, it should look just like that. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do is decide exactly where you're going to put your chests for your sorting system, assuming you want to put one in. And in my design, I actually put them back here But I mentioned earlier you could actually save on some hoppers by putting them closer to where they're actually being collected. That is completely up to you. The reason why I put them back here is because I wanted people to be able to stand here and see the farm going on. So I'm going to do that for the tutorial because I'm going to assume that you guys are like me and like to watch pigmen die. Sadistic people you are. And so the first thing you want to do is lay down. I did 5 chests. You can customize this as you see fit. Basically, my idea was I want 2 columns for the gold nuggets, 1 for the gold ingots, and then 2 for the zombie flesh. So you can do the same thing if you like. Let's see, which one is this. And so you just have to alternate between regular chests and trap chests. I put down a total of 20 chests, I believe. Okay, so there you go. I have basically a 5x4, so 20 chests total. And then you just come around to the back side and you put hoppers into the back. It has to be facing into the back of each chest directly there. Oop, wrong direction. And just like that. So you're going to go through about 20 hoppers here as well. So it does start to get a little expensive on that end. And then we're going to put some blocks just temporarily over top of these chests here so that we can face our hoppers into them like that. These are basically for the filtering mechanism. And then I also want to put, there's going to be a dropper right there shooting into some lava. And that's going to be for all the items we don't want, all the swords and stuff that come through. So then you just run a hopper chain over top of that. You can take your dispenser. We'll just go ahead and put that in right now. And that goes right there facing down. Like I said, we're going to put lava in underneath that to get rid of it. And what else do we need here? Now what we want to do is put in our dropper elevator and then hook it up to our hoppers over there that are going to distribute the items all the way from where they're getting crushed into our system. So the first thing we need to do is drop down. What I like to do is, since we have our floor here, I didn't want hoppers kind of sticking above the floor like that and then having to worry about covering them up or anything like that. So I actually went 1 lower than that, and so we'll do that here. I'm just going to go put a couple blocks under this hopper here, and basically right there, that's where our first dropper is going to be. And so you're going to want to get on top of these droppers, and you got to hold shift in order to place them, and you just start going, oop, you got to hold shift and start placing them like that. They all need to be facing up until you get to that point, and then you can put a hopper there, and then it'll shoot into that and start going across into the sorting system. So now that we're kind of 1 below the floor here, we can get our hopper chain going, and we'll walk this all the way over and meet up with where our crushing system is. And we are right here, so you can see we got to go 1 underneath it, and that's fine. We can go like that, and then like that will work just fine. And then we can go ahead and cover this up now with half slabs. Again, I mentioned it in the past, you can use furnaces to put just a item, you know, basically help the lag. If you put furnaces on top of these hoppers, it will make it so they're not constantly, you know, checking to see if there's an actual item sitting there. And that also might help from when you have people up here and they're accidentally throwing stuff on the ground and wondering where it went. What would happen is actually go through and get destroyed. So you might want to do that, put furnaces or something that has an inventory on top of these hoppers as well. So there we go. Now we're hooked up. We basically just need to get our item elevator configured to be on a clock, and so it'll shoot the items up. So we'll build a little platform out here, and need to get a comparator. And we'll go comparator into a repeater. That way, even if one item gets in there, it's going to get ourselves a max signal. It's a little bit extra redstone to do that, but that's okay. And I want to remove that block because over on this side, we're going to take that signal and feed it back into the comparator. And then on this side, we are going to actually power the elevator. And so we'll do that by putting repeater like that so it doesn't connect to the comparator, and then we need to put these on 2-tick delay so that we don't burn the torches out on this item elevator. And you should start hearing clicking as we do this little torch tower, and 1 more, and that's all you need. And there we go. So now we can throw some items in here and we'll see where they end up here. So I'll just grab some of those, and you should see it start to go off there, and they're all shooting through the dropper chain and hopefully making their way up. And we'll see If anybody got left inside. Nope, that looks good. So they should have all come over and then taken priority and went straight down, I believe. And there you go. So there we go. Now we know all our items are making it up into the system. Now all we have to do is put a filter, basically sorting system with a filtering mechanism on it. And we also want to do one that has overflow protection so that if you AFK for too long, we don't get it backed up and cause problems with your filters. So I'll show you how to do that. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is come off the back of this row here, and in fact, I forgot to mention that, these were temporary, you need to break those out. And you need to come off right here, and we're going to put down 3 blocks off of each one, just like so. And then comparators coming out. So we're actually getting comparator signal not out that top row, but the one right underneath it. And that's where we're going to actually set our filters at. And then we're going to have 2 blocks sticking out just like that. Just cover them up with redstone dust, just like so. And now we want to go 2 blocks underneath. So you leave a gap there, 2 blocks underneath of that last one, and we're going to put down some repeaters. We do this just because it's too hard to do it after the fact. And then come behind here, hold shift. You can use a hitbox or the repeater. Make sure you don't change the timing of those repeaters as well when you're doing that. And then finally, you can kind of do the same thing on the front of them or use the ceiling, either way. And then put some torches on the front of those blocks. So pretty standard sorting system. Finally connect the dust back here. The difference with this one is it's overflow proof. By going 1 more redstone dust down, we actually make it so the signal's never going to cross wires with the one next to it, even though it kind of looks like it would. And here's how we do that. You're going to need to name some blocks. So get yourself an anvil and get yourself a stack of blocks, and we'll just do it like this. Throw it down. I'm just going to grab a stack of blocks. I'm going to name it X. Doesn't matter what you name it, just as long as it's named and it's unique. So now I got a block or a stack of blocks here named X, and that's kind of my filter item. It's going to be what I clog up the first 4 slots of these filters with. And you can do this on all of them. Just put in the first 4 slots, put the named item in, and then we're going to put our actual item that we want to be sorted after that. So there we go. And that's all you need. You just need 20 total. You don't need a full stack. And now we can put in this first set. We wanted to do nuggets. So we'll do golden nuggets. Grab our golden nuggets. And what else? The next thing we're going to do is these ingots. And then finally, rotten flesh. So we'll get those ready right now. And now we just put this in. So if I put in a stack of nuggets, which is the most this could ever handle, is 1 whole stack. Because after that, there's no slots available, no items, no way more items could come through. The idea is that this signal never actually crosses this dust right there. And so that's why it's overflow proof. Because in order for this thing to start releasing items on the column next to it, it would have to activate that dust there, which would turn the torch off. And it never gets to that point because 64 plus the 4 in here is never going to reach a signal strength of 4 there. And so that's what makes it, that's kind of the magic behind this thing. So put in your filter item. You only need to put in 42, I'd say, and that's to get the one item that's going to kind of get stuck one underneath it. Or no, that's just so you can see. There you go, underneath there. And then those are my nugget sorters. Now we'll do the gold ingot. And the next one is rotten flesh. And the next one is rotten flesh again. All right, so basically now anything that's not gold nuggets, gold ingot, or rotten flesh are going to make it into that dispenser. In fact, let's go ahead and test that theory. If I was to put a torch in the system, let's see if that actually makes it. We'll see if it makes it all the way, there we go, to the dispenser. So we know that it didn't get sorted, and basically now what we want to do is take any items that make it to the dispenser and destroy them. So the way we're going to do that, and we're going to put some solid blocks around this thing on both sides. So I'll put one in the middle temporarily and one underneath. And then we got to be super quick about this because in the nether, lava flows pretty fast. So it's not going to create a problem. It's just going to fall down there and not really bother anybody. But now we're going to put our lava in real quick, put a block there, and we can take that one back out. And now we know that we have lava directly underneath that dispenser there. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is get a signal out of that dispenser to tell us if there's actually an item in it. And then if there is, we're going to basically make another clock to have them shoot the items into that lava. So I need to kind of activate itself. So do the same thing, put a repeater there, and then I want to take the signal off of that block and bring it back into the comparator, and we'll do that with some redstone. There we go. And now we can bring the signal over top to activate that dispenser. So we'll do that just like this, and that repeater is going to make it so the signal is strong enough to do so, and that should work just fine. Let's go ahead and throw in, and there you go. You can see it working. Take a couple out, make sure it stops when it's done. There you go. So you can see it destroyed all the items. They all got shot into the lava. So that is perfect. So that is pretty much the whole thing done. There's one final very, very important step that you need to do. You need to make sure that this entire thing is spawn proof outside of the actual spawn pads. So basically what that entails is grab some half slabs, grab this half slab here, and go around and just make sure you cover everything. Cover everything up with half slabs, everything up just to be safe. You never know. And go like this. We'll cover up all the redstone. And one thing that's good, this used to be a problem. You used to have the little tiny magma cubes could actually spawn inside this one high block here because of these weren't full blocks above it. They did change that, so now we don't have to worry about that anymore, which is nice. So just come across here, basically put, you need that block there. There's lava on the other side, so don't try to break that block. Sometimes these blocks can be deceiving, but you need those. And cover everything. So I'm going to go ahead and cover everything right now, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, we are just about ready to turn this thing on. Just a few final preparations that we need to make. We need to put in a couple more powered rails to make sure we're going to make it. So after that powered rail there, put a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4 regular rails, and then put a powered rail there. Hopefully you still have your scaffolding that you put below so you can get to these blocks. Grab yourself a lever here, turn that on. You can see it's not going to interact with anything else, so you're good there. And then over here we're going to go one back from where those hoppers are and put a powered rail there too. And that gives us just the right amount of speed to keep going but not actually stop at any point. So you can see there that should also be good to go, not powering any of the redstone down below or the hoppers or anything like that. So that should be good as far as getting our minecart going. And the final piece is we need to get ourselves a named pigman. So we're going to need a name tag. And this will sort of work without a named pigman. You can basically come up here and shoot an arrow and hit a guy, and that'll make them mad. But I found that over time, eventually they're going to lose their aggro. Basically, you'll get enough killed or despawned that it just won't keep going forever. But you can get a decent amount out of it. So let's get ourselves a name tag. And let's get ourselves an anvil. Okay. And you can name it whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. I prefer to name my guy You Mad Bro. Because he gonna be mad. Alright, so there we go. We got that. Done with the anvil. Got my name tag. Now I just need a pigman. So, how do we do this? How do we get a pigman in the cage? I'm going to go ahead and turn on spawning there. And you can see I've already got some guys spawning. And none of them are mad, so we're safe. We're safe to come in here. And what I'll do is I'll go all the way to the end here where this cage is. And I'm going to break a couple blocks. Hopefully I got silk touch, so I'm not wasting anything. I'm just going to come in here. And this guy, he's volunteering. You see, ooh, 2 guys volunteering. You know what? You win. Oh, he's gone. He's out. He didn't want to play. That's fine. And we're going to take him, and we're going to put him in there, and guess what, buddy? This is your new home. You are You Mad Bro. That's your new name. All right, and then basically you can just cap it back off. You got a guy that's loose that you're probably going to have to take care of. No problem here. We'll go ahead and put a cap on top of this. There we go. and he's nice and tight in there. You mad bro is our new winner. All right, and then the other thing is, you can see we're getting pigman spawning on the track here. We need to take care of that. So basically, what I like to do here is get yourself out a couple, because you're going to need to be able to see him long enough to shoot him. So you can put 3 out here to give yourself some extra time. And again, I'm using the method where we're doing a half slab on the top and on the bottom, and that will create spawning, or make it so they can't spawn on top here. And then also you'll still be able to ride through this without suffocating. And then basically I like to do just glass all the way through here. And we're going to have to kill some pigmen now that we are not in not in peaceful anymore. And then bring glass all the way through. Even got little guy. This is going to get interesting. All right, and then right here, go back to the half slabs. Oh, he's excited. Ooh, I did them on the wrong side. See that? You want to do them on the top half. Excuse me, buddy. See, it can get a little annoying when those guys are here. And then now I can see that should have been a top half slab there. So now everything's covered up. I got my rails. I got my named pigman. Now I just need to take care of the guys that are left. Probably the easiest way to do that would actually be, you could come and kill him, but if you don't want to take any risk whatsoever, just go all the way back down under bedrock and then come back up. Alright, so I went all the way down underneath bedrock and came back up to get rid of any guys that were on the tracks or wherever else, and I did realize on my way back up that we have one more of these tracks we need to light up. The one at the very end here, we need to make sure that we scaffold out to and put ourselves a lever right underneath that so we can turn that on, and we'll ride down and it'll bounce us back. So don't forget to turn that on, otherwise you're going to get down there and your cart's going to get stuck. You're going to have to get out and break some glass. So yeah, make sure you power that track, and we'll give it one more look over here. This is off, and we'll make sure that track is on, that track is on, and that track is on. Good. And we don't have any other pigmen outside of the farm. Perfect. All right, so it is time. It is time. Let's go for a ride. Here we go. We'll put down the cart, get on in, and you can see got half slab in my face here. But that's okay because I can still see the bottom of the hitbox here on the lever. So I'll turn that on, and then basically in a second or two we're going to go for a ride, and we're going to go down and say hello to you mad bro at the end of the track, and he's going to live up to his name. So here we go. Let's go for a ride. Let's make sure the tracks are leading us all the way down, and as soon as I get inside these half slabs here, I'm going to be able to throw it right there. Now he's upset. And all these guys are also very, very upset. And here they come chasing after me. I'm going to head on down, sit in my little minecart holder right here, and watch them fall into the crushing system. And as I ride on through here, in a second, they're just going to start getting crushed. And I don't need to throw any more snowballs like I mentioned before. He's going to stay aggroed. Just do make sure you name that guy, or else he'll despawn after time. And there they go. Getting crushed. So the first time through they haven't been crushed yet, so we're not going to pick up any XP just yet. But now that they've been crushed, we should have XP waiting for us. You can see it all there in front of us. And here we go. Even some loot kind of shot out there. Pick that up. Usually on the way back is where you collect more of the XP because you're going a little bit slower, but you will eventually collect all of it. It's not going to get wasted. So there we go. Look at that first ride up to 11. All right, and so we just do that much. Let's see if our item elevator is working. You can see it's flashing. That's good. So the items are making it from the system over here. Open this up. You see some golden nuggets flowing in. Open this up. Already got some ingots flowing in. Well, those are the ones that I dropped in as a test, but you saw just another one come in as well. And then we have rotten flesh coming in. Great. So it is working perfectly, guys, and that will conclude the tutorial for you today. Is a big tutorial, I know, but this farm is just so amazing. The benefits of having an AFK-able XP farm that also gives you gold is not too shabby. So guys, if you did enjoy it, if you did find this quite interesting and something that you find useful, please do give me a like. If you're not subscribed, please make sure you hit hit that subscribe button. I am always coming up with new ideas for farms. If you check the history of my channel, you will see I've got plenty to offer, and you will not be sorry for subscribing, because I will definitely be having more come out in the future. So, with that said, thanks again everybody for watching, and I will see you again next time. Have a good one, everyone.